I'm just going to play a short song, try to listen to the words.
I couldn't tell Mom, I couldn't tell anyone. I asked for your help. You were the only one. I gave you my trust because I thought I could. We've got to find the strength to break the chain. The giant clock, I know it won't be long. That secret knock didn't fool anyone. It never stops. It only starts again. We got to find the strength to break the chain. She spent every single second of every single day trying to wash the feelings away. Now seeing this private nightmare became a public play. On the stage there lies a broken chain. She spent every single minute of all the lonely days still thinking that she's the one to blame. And still this private nightmare could happen all over again unless we find the strength to break the chain. She wants to know when.
All right. That title is Cindy's Song. All right. It's going to be part of my new way of talking and lecturing and what I'm going to be writing about and trying to get involved mainstream with people. All right. I don't want to get into that right now. I got so much other stuff that I want to deal with. But I consider that the most serious problem on planet Earth beyond any other problem that mankind thinks they have. I'll kind of get into that in different ways, but I'm not going to get into that specific because I want to do a couple of shows on that, and that's where my direction is going to be going for a while. The world needs a lot of help, and I can only give it where I feel I can give any help at all, and that's going to be the way. All right. So here's the thing. I got a couple of notes that I got to stay to. I don't want to go too far off mainstream. But the title is going to be Beyond the Truth. Whose truth? What truth? What is truth? Now, if you got courage and everything else, please stay and listen to the whole thing. Then, if you feel inclined, send this link to everybody you know. All right. This is going to be important, very important. I'm not charging you money to hear it. I'm not begging you to send me money or anything like that. Please just listen and then think. Let it go through your head. Let it stay inside the brain for a little while and see what comes out or what goes through it. What is truth? Your definition of truth, you can only tell it to yourself. You can text me or whatever. What is truth, really? Well, there's a word that they're using now for just about everything, especially in the UFO world, spiritual realms and things. And they call that conspiracy theory, or I say theory. Now, a theory is something that 2 scientists, 3 scientists, a bunch, whatever, get together and they work on an idea and they think they got the answer to it. And that's a theory. The difference between that and the other word that they're pushing on people they don't like what they're saying is called this conspiracy theory. The only difference between the two is the amount of people that follow it. So here's the thing. If you follow a theory and believe it, it's a theory. I mean, you can't prove anything really because most theories change in a period of time. A lot of Einstein's theories became wrong, obsolete, whatever word you want to use. Tesla, on the other hand, created a lot of devices that proved his theories. So in the UFO world, and I'm going to get a little bit into this because it's what's really hurting us in a lot of ways. Between the word spiritual and UFOs and aliens, the conspiracy theories are growing. The ideas of what people say and all those things coming out are pretty much theories or conspiracy theories, whichever you prefer. All right. A theory doesn't mean it's real. It means it's accepted by maybe any number of people, but that number of people that accept the theory have to be a lot more than the people that don't accept it. Because the people that don't accept it and come up with their own ideas, they can call conspiracists. Plotting against the theory? No, trying to prove something right, wrong, or indifferent. But here's the thing. People have a lot of bad dreams. They do bad drugs, and they get a bad programming. Every person is programmed to multiple levels. I'm going to get into that today. So keep that word in the back of your mind. Programmed, reprogramming. What does that mean? Well, think about it, and I'll get into it. But what is truth? Truth comes from where? Whose truth is it? If I believe that in a Superman, Batman, does that make it true? Of course not. If 10,000 people, of course not. If 10 million people, does not make it true. So a theory is an idea that's possible. Not true, not real, but possible. Ancient Aliens and shows like that put these theories out there are pretty much abstract ideas based on what physical proof they think they have. Now, you can take something, whatever it is, if it's an artifact, a stone building, or stone rock, or a picture, and convert it into anything you want it to be and say anything you want about it. And what I'm going to throw in is out-of-place artifacts, meaning something that's put there that's in the wrong time frame that can't be there. And we have a lot of them. Sergio Latin, one of the people I worked with for a long time, has a piece, and he was going to sell it. I guess he didn't. But it's something encased in something else that's a lot older than whatever the time frame is. So that's just one thing to think about. And how did they get here? Who puts it here? How can it be here if it's not supposed to be here? Well, I'm not going to deal with too much about time travel in great lengths today, but it's real. Another word, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Oh, it's just a theory. Einstein proved it's real. But most people have no clue what Tesla proved. He had his work taken away later in his life. He stayed pretty much brain dead for 10 years in New York City in a hotel room. What the government did to him, who knows? What happened to him, who knows? Well, how did he survive with no money? He had very little money. Everybody didn't want his ideas because it was not making money. When Bell came out with, when they were debating on AC/DC, they chose the one that would make money, not the one that would be free. Obviously, I mean, you have to realize at the same time, marijuana was legal and drinking was becoming the problem. I mean, then they reversed that. But everything based in the United States or the world is based on money. The people in power that have money trying to control and protect their country or destroy it. Most people think they're protecting their country while they're destroying it, including the United States right now. So I want to get into a bunch of things. Let me just see if I can get anything going here. If you have questions, you can Skype me or go into the chat room and put something up there. But here's the thing. We have so many things going on in this moment right now. Fires in California. We just had a big earthquake here in Hawaii. It was like a 5, and then we had another one after that was a 3. I'm rounding it off. It was supposedly a 4.9 on the radio, on TV. They said 5.8, which is a lie. Then when it was like rounded off, it was 2.8. But we had a couple today. Now, I went out, walked my dog this morning. I got to see, okay, Mercury just went in front of the sun today, and it went across the whole sun. If you had a telescope, you could see it with a filter. And I watched it for a while, and it was only there for a short period of time. Luckily, at the same time, dolphins popped out of the water, which I didn't see for a year, which was quite interesting. So it was a good morning for me, but who knows how the rest of the day is going to go, because there's a lot of things going on in the medical world affecting people around me in a really bad way. The government's screwing everybody they can every which way in the medical place. People with money that have insurance are losing it, paying too much money for what they got to get done, all those kind of things. Just to show you, I had to change my doctor because he wasn't doing anything except sending me to other doctors. So I changed my doctor to a clinic that's closer to where I live. 3 days later, he leaves. He said he signed a 4-month thing and he had to stay there for at least 4 months, and suddenly he's gone. So I don't even know what I'm going to do about my primary doctor. But it's just showing you what's going on here in Hawaii. They need doctors. They need nurses. It's pathetic how bad it is. We need homes for the homeless people. We need food for the homeless people. We need medical people to help people on drugs. So we got lots going on where I live. But on top of that, we got a lot of UFOs going over us every day, in the morning, night. Everybody's seeing them. And that's a big thing as well. But why and what does that all mean? So what is the truth? What is your truth? Do you believe in UFOs? Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe in God? Do you believe in spirits? Do you believe in angels? Where do you fit your truth in? And realize your truth is only your truth. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Unless you can go beyond that and make it useful to everybody else. Most people's truth are not beneficial for anybody else other than themselves. Because basically it's going to be, who do you love? Why do you love them? What do you want to do for a living? And all that. It's your personal life. And that can help many people. Just as a secret, I think Secret 2 is coming out, or it just came out, whatever. And they were responsible for killing 4 people years ago when the first Secret came out. In a sweat lodge, they went in there. They thought they were hallucinating and seeing God when they were all dying. Just things that are happening that come and go and nobody recognizes it, looks for the truth, just like 9/11. And it's 11/11 today. And it's supposed to be top of the energy and do all kinds of things with your energy, what you think and put into your consciousness today. But that's up to you. And who do you want to listen to on that information? All right. Now, when you go out and say, well, do you talk about spirit? Do you talk about God? Do you talk about religion? Oh, no, you're not supposed to talk about them. You're not supposed to talk about what? Politics? Why not? I mean, you're supposed to think about it and decide who you're going to vote for, but you can't talk about it to anybody? You know, the programming that human gets at every level, from a child up to who knows when, is a specific program that's not beneficial. No program that you've been given is beneficial. It wouldn't be a program if it was beneficial. Program means it's programming your mind to accept something because somebody else wants you to accept it or wants you to believe it. The same as whoever created that person's truth made sure that they believed it as well. So, where do you get programs from? Your parents. Mainly start with your parents. Start with your friends. Then it becomes your teacher in school. Then if you follow a spiritual path and things like that, it becomes a master or your teacher. And where everybody gets a lot of their so-called truth is from books. Books are not proof of anything. Not proof of anything. No matter what a person says, no matter how many witnesses are involved, will help determine how much of that is true or not. If 100 people see something, does that mean it's true? Usually. But there's a word called mass hypnosis. And I did it when I was little. And if you don't believe it can work, I'll explain what I did. I did hypnosis. I worked with the top hypnotist in the United States at the time, and learned it when I was a little kid. I I got into cults and became a high priest and all those kind of things for words, whatever. And we were out to do test energy, test all of psychic abilities and things like that. But want to take people to a cemetery. And in the cemetery where we went, where I lived, they had these statues. So I said, okay, let's see if it works. So we brought a bunch of people down to hang out by the cemetery. And they're all standing there. And I said, just watch the statue. It comes alive. Within 10 minutes, everybody ran away. They all saw the statue moving, coming after them, and everything else. And they all ran. So mass hypnosis, which is Kreskin, who I worked with when I was a little child, called it the power of suggestion. When you suggest something to somebody and they're open to the suggestion, it becomes their reality. Just as Hitler worked with his army and hypnotized them by the power of suggestion. Now, is it hypnosis? Hypnosis is another word made by man, a definition of stilling the consciousness and talking to the subconscious mind. But all that doesn't mean a thing. Because what I'll tell you, I deal with things to the end. I don't just take parts of truth. The Hypnosis Society lie about everything. They shouldn't even be allowed to give you a license on hypnosis, even though that license is worth 2 cents. But here's the thing. You can hypnotize anybody that can get hypnotized to do anything. Fact. And I'm not going to go into it. Fact. That's a fact, period. I don't care what anybody says. You can make somebody kill somebody or whatever. I did it to my friends when I was 14 years old. So imagine what people that work half of their life doing hypnosis and everything else. Well, they made bills and laws because people were getting raped and all kinds of things while they were under hypnosis. So yeah, it should be filmed, and it should be somebody that's your friend that's there as well, always. Even if you get in your tooth pulled, and they used to give you stuff to make you drowsy and not be aware. But all these little things, it's all a matter of programming, suggestion, and control. All right, now people that have a bad dream, in time it becomes their reality. Or they can't realize whether it was really a dream or was it a real experience. How many times you wake up from a dream and say, wow, that really happened? And then you look where you are and everything else. Oh, I'm not even there. I'm not this. It becomes so real. Because at a different level it is to spirit in one way. But is it really real, even in that space? Well, I'm a rebel. I'm hardcore. I don't accept the programmed ideas that mankind feeds everybody, makes everybody believe, and tells them to believe in. Because when you get into that, you're accepting someone else's reality of truth and every other word that you can put in there, spirit, God, angels, and all that. Now, the problem that I had over most of my life is everything I hear is a lie. A person can claim so many things. Ask them to prove it. People work with angels. And what do they get? Well, they shouldn't go shopping today, or they should buy popcorn today. What? You think angels have nothing to do? Come down here and play games. Then if you work with a deity, which is a little god on a higher level, that they're going to sit and play your game? Tell you should get a different girlfriend or get 2 girlfriends and things like that. Do you really think that their goal? Deities grew in an awareness. Not like God. God doesn't grow in that kind of an awareness as deities and we do. It knows everything. So it's not like it has to grow and then, well, this is bad, that's good, this is going to helpful. But deities do grow. I mean, if you go back to the beginning of the history of the human race and the first religion, which was Hinduism, they were worshiping deities. Before that, they were worshiping animals. So the concept of God did not exist, really. All right. I'm going to get into that in a little. My first book is How to See God. Second book is When Truth is Called Crazy. My third book is Truth Beyond the Illusion. And my fourth book is The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. I put up a manual on how to see a UFO. So I do a lot of writing. All right. But here's the thing. When we talk about God. It didn't exist all through history. And when the first person that was writing words for the dictionary, basically it was about, okay, what are we doing really with the word? Okay, I come up with the word Batman. Well, a bat and man, so it's a man that's half bat, and we put that together and make a Batman, and then we create an image of the Batman for a cartoon, and then we make it into a movie, and it becomes kind of real to children. But if you say potato or tomato, when somebody looked at a fruit and they called it something, where did they come up with the name? The first person that comes up with the name of something usually decides how long it's going to be there, because if a person usually says that's a car, that's an automobile, it'll stay there. And then it's accepted. Again, is it a theory? I mean, is it really a tomato? Well, how do you know what a tomato is? What's it taste like? A tomato is a fruit. Oh, no, it's supposed to be a vegetable. So all these little things. But when we create words like spiritual, God, religion, what do they really mean? Who wrote the definition of that word before it became a reality? So all the words we use are man's ego reflecting upon objects. I hope you agree with that. Usually in a twisted way. Sex and love. I mean, do they go together? Of course they do. But are they the same? They can be. But if you separate them, they mean different things. I mean, if you're in love with a hooker or a prostitute, it's different than if you're in love with the person you're married to. And think about those words. Well, I love this, or I love that, or I love my car. Do you really love your car? An inanimate object? We have pathetic thinking, and the words we use are pretty pathetic. I don't know what you want. We have this going on with words. So when I get into words, I bring them out. The word God did not exist. All right? The word was given to beings and entities and demons along the way after the word was created, not before. Nobody in history talked about a real God. In the beginning, deities just made themselves a power play with ego. So the idea in the definition that we're programmed to accept is power, powerful, superpowered. So any being, any person that's superpowered would be classified as God. So when aliens came down, and they came down from space, however, people said, wow, super energy. And then they had weapons, and the weapons were pretty bad even in the ancient times. So we got these words that create things, but it doesn't reflect what God is. Nothing mankind does reflects on God. And now, here's where more sick, pathetic programming comes in. The Bible. All right. I was going to become a preacher. I studied the Bible inside and out. I read it many times. I don't know where that came from. I'm just trying to find my my windows here. What did I do with it? Where is it? All right. So here's the thing. The Bible contains multiple stories written by who? A third of the Bible is written by Moses. One man. All right. What was his ideas? What was his beliefs? And here's something you have to think about. I call him, don't accept it, you don't have to, the most powerful black magician to live. Now, if you study magic and you're aware of magic, there's black magic, white magic. White magic usually means healing. Black magic usually means killing. If you kill something, it's not white magic. So what did Moses do? Sorry, the allergy in the air, something's in the air for the past couple of days. They've been spraying heavy chemtrails over us, really, really bad. So what does it mean? Think about it. I'm asking you to think about that. If you're facing God in your mind, what is it? What's it look like? What's it do? What's it say? Most people can only relate to a programmed idea. Sorry. And that idea is a man. That's why it's always written he. All right. And then when Jesus got involved in the Bible, it became Jesus was God because he had abilities. One of the few people that had abilities. Moses had abilities, but what did he do with them? All right. I'm not going to get into Moses' story because I don't want to make this about Moses because he was a black magician. He killed people right after he came off of the mountain. He led people around and around in circles until they died, and he didn't even know why. And then when we talk about a promised land, what was a promised land? Nobody knew. Oh, it's where we were promised to go. And sadly, Moses wasn't allowed in there. And people in the Bible have no clue. People that talk about it have no clue. Oh, we got mad or this. No, he killed people. Had thousands of people killed. Thousands and thousands more children as well. So you can say the stories of what Moses did with the Pharaoh and things like that as a good story. But it's always one against another. Everything in life is one against another, which is not spiritual in any way. Even the angels were cast out of the higher realms because they were fighting. And people think they're going to have Jesus come down here and take them into that heaven. What for? What do they think they deserve? Well, I didn't beat people up or kill them. Did you curse? Did you hit your child? Did you do a lot of these horrible little things that we perceive as okay? Of course you did. And in the Bible, one of the most dangerous things to do, which everybody does, is put God's name in vain. Now, well, my mother did it. Blame your mother. My father did it. Blame your father. But who's saying it? Who's putting the energy into words that shouldn't be there? Energy is created, but not the way we want it. I want $1 million to fall in my yard. Somebody hits the $1 million lottery. I mean, energy works in strange ways, but it doesn't work in the way you perceive it or want it to do it. I mean, somebody said, well, if you're going to ask God for anything, ask him for 10 times more. So whatever you get, you'll be happy. Kind of a way to look at something if that's what you want to believe. And then what do you believe God has to give you anything? Because you pray, because you read the Bible, because you go to church. You know, conditioning, programming is very sad because everybody is. Now, I'm going to get into that because that's the problem that we're dealing with today. All right. Humans are open to suggestion and they always want to hear something. I don't like to hear anybody's viewpoint. Why? I don't need it. I don't need lies trying to take away the truth that I already have. Well, your truth might not be the truth. Oh, really? And why? What aspect would you even assume that your truth is real? If you had the experiences I did, which I can go over them all, which I'm not, death experiences, out of body, and all those kind of things, you don't need somebody else to tell you what happens when you leave your body. And if you do, you really didn't have an out-of-body experience. And to this day, when I listen to people that had a death experience, sadly to say, they don't know what happened when they had that experience. The same as a person get abducted by an aliens or races and things like that. They don't know what happens. Why? Because they're programmed after they're abducted. And I'm not going to go into the details, and I'm not going to try to prove it. But way back when Eisenhower and Truman were involved with that, they made deals with the alien races, 2 races. And they said, there's 5 different grades, just so you know, not just one, but they made deals like you're allowed to take 10,000 people a year. If you abduct people, they can't know what you're doing to them. So they were trading humans, which they always do all through history, for money, for technology more so than not now, and weapons. Tesla worked with an alien race, and he brought out devices that are going to destroy the planet, not make it better. Oh yeah, free energy. But you know, when 5G comes out, it's going to affect the planet so bad. And if you think people are dying now, let's do 2 numbers real fast. 150,000 people die daily. 100,000 die in a hospital a day. 350,000 are born daily. So there's more souls coming in than leaving. Why is that? Because alien races are reincarnating. They live for 5,000, a couple hundred to 5,000 years. And they're reincarnating into a human body. Why would they want to do that? They don't have feelings and emotions. So when people say the good aliens, good? If you don't have feelings and emotions, you can't be good. It's just like having a robot run your house and everything else and then tell you what to do. You have to be realistic and look at the facts and find the truth before you make any decision of your so-called truth. Is it real? Is it really important? I'm just trying to read a couple notes here real fast. All right. I'm just trying to catch up on a couple ideas and suggestions, but Moses is, I don't want to keep it on Moses because he's, to me, it's just a negative thing. The whole beginning of the Bible to the halfway through it is pathetic, to say the least. Not beneficial, not good in any way. Here's the thing. Moses created 613 laws, and they cannot even live by the 10 Commandments. So take that as far as you want. I mean, if you could live by the 10 Commandments, you'll be living under a safe place, not creating karma. Go outside of them and you can create karma easily. So with 613 laws, all those laws about cutting fingers off eyes and all the other parts and everything else is all creating karma. So Moses didn't talk about karma. What he did was more karma than anybody else on the planet. So let's go into back where I was on this whole thing. All right. When we talk about aliens, what did they want? Are they good aliens, bad aliens? Are they good people, bad people? Well, we have our perception of good and bad. I think everybody's bad. There's no good people on planet Earth. They wouldn't be here. This is hell. This is as bad as it's going to get for soul. Once you leave your physical body, you die tomorrow. You think somebody can come along and start shooting you, chopping you up, burning you, freezing you? I mean, Dante's Inferno talks about that, which was a really twisted idea because he didn't experience it. It's the power of the ego, how you can torture a person, yes, but you can't torture soul. So soul has to be refined by higher energy forms, which is the deities. And they keep all souls in the physical and the astral plane until they have risen to a higher level of awareness and understand what the word spiritual means. But that doesn't happen for very few souls. All right. On planet Earth, they say good and bad. Who's good on planet Earth? Trump, the Pope, Dalai Lama. Why are they good? I can go into that. I'm not going to. I mean, there is nobody good, and they are the bad symbols that hurt and killed many more people than saved. All right. Now, dolphins and whales have the same size brain. Well, the bottlenose dolphins have the same exact size brain as we do, maybe a quarter inch smaller, but everything's the same in it. So it thinks very much like us, but in different ways because it uses different parts of the brain. And Japan and Philippines and all those other countries eat them. They serve them to kids in school for lunch. They have whale restaurants in Japan. They got whale boats, whaling shark. They're not supposed to kill more than 10,000 whales for research. And they kill lots more. And they can them, turn them into canned food on the boat. And they got a big sign on it, scientific research. See, mankind twists words and get people to believe words, believe so-called truth. What is the truth? Somebody's ego. When we talk about aliens, how much does people know about what race, what colors are they, what are they really? And if you want to believe one person's story, whose name's Zachariah Sitchin, you're in trouble. Now, I know too many people that are into it believe they're this, the reincarnation of that, and this, that, and the other thing. Soul usually moves forward. To think if you are a high being or a deity, You would reincarnate into a puny little body of a normal person? That would be pretty stupid, because the higher soul goes, the more abilities and energy and things it could work with and help and change. But see, here's the thing. People don't want to believe in people like Satan and his army of demons. Uh, he makes people happy in a bad way. Lust, greed, anger, vanity, attachment. And those words relate to sports, gambling, sex, cheap thrills, jumping out of planes and climbing cliffs and everything, hoping that you might not die, and all those kind of things. But attached to this reality, like it's important. It's important to who? All right. I'm going to ask you two questions. We're going to keep going into them. Why are you here? Why were you put here on planet Earth? All right. A question everybody needs to know before they die. Understand it and deal with it. But mankind claims that we all came from one race, which is another lie, programmed idea. To think that we all came from the black race is totally ridiculous. And DNA. You know, pigs have very much the same DNA as we do. People eat pigs, but they also grow body parts on pigs, and also what they're doing now. I don't want to get into it. It's so horrible. They're allowed to clone animals and humans together in certain countries now, including Japan, and they have been already anyway. So the United States has, and they don't brag about it. I mean, I can go into that, but that's a whole different topic. I want to try to get back to the main topic today. Men are more animals than most animals are. Some animals live with their family, take care of their family, and die with their family. How many men are willing to go and stay with their husband or wife if they get deathly sick and all the other little things that go along with it? So the bottom line is, what are you going to do with your so-called truth? Anything? Is it helping you move forward in life and death? Now, if you don't believe in anything after death, you're really in a bad space, and you're going to reincarnate many more times until you do. Somewhere along the line, you're going to remember drips and drabs and little pieces of your past lives, which eventually, somewhere in the future, you will need to know. You don't go to school to get out of school to not know what you learned in school. Well, I'm just saying that sarcastically. You learn very little in school. We're going to go into that, but school is a programmed idea of what you're supposed to know and do. And it's programming you to accept that as reality. Now, I just heard people higher up in the I don't know what kind of description, but richer, bigger, higher places in government, politics, and all those other words, that agree schooling is one of the worst things that we put soul through in the body, children, because you learn nothing about self, nothing about soul, nothing about God. What do you learn? How to become a working robot. That's all you learn. You don't learn anything else in school. And I would challenge any psychiatrist on their truth, because they have very little. And they're in that field because they don't know, and they just assume medicine's going to help people, which it doesn't. Now, psychologists, most of them don't know what they're doing either. And they don't understand the truth, and they're looking for it. That's why they listen to so-called crazy people, because they know they might hear something that's real. But they're not going to come out and say, well, aliens are real because some idiot said they were abducted. I mean, they're not going to, the way they perceive it. Some crazy person was working with demons, and that's crazy as well. Somebody said he was possessed, and all those little things. If they can't be accepted, how do you think mankind could help those people? The Pope himself realized possessions becoming incredibly high. So he hired 1,500 people to do deep exorcisms 2 years ago. A friend of mine, who I want to do a show with in the next couple of weeks or so, does that for a living. And he does hundreds and hundreds in a year. And it's not like sitting there and battling with the Bible and screaming, yelling, and getting hurt and all these things. If you're a person that's capable of doing it, you don't waste time and you don't need days, weeks, and months to get rid of it. Even these UFO, not the UFO shows, but the ghost shows on TV, spirit shows. There's very few, any of those people working in that get rid of the spirit. Or they'll tell a person to bring a person to remove the spirits out of the house. And then a lot of people move. Howie Mandel was just on the channel with his ghost in his house. And he had somebody come in and everything, but he just moved out. His little daughter saw the spirit. One of the caretakers saw it, and they moved away from the house. So even rich people, famous people, are dealing with, but they can't deal. Surprised he came out publicly. But this new show is about famous people being attacked and abused and abducted as well. All right. So people say, well, how come they don't, and it's only the poor people? Well, usually it is, because nobody cares about the poor people. And aliens know that they're not going to go missing. Nobody's going to care. And all those little words around that. So we're moving into this space, and we got this whole UFO world coming out with multiple lies of multiple stories. Are they helpful? You're going to pay $2,000 to go to a UFO conference. Why? To hear a bunch of idiots talk. Sorry, people. You're not going to learn anything. Oh, they're the top of the line UFO speakers. I was at one time. Saw Gel 18. I went around with him. He was the top UFO photographer. We worked together. And we have pictures of all these things, of vortexes opening, creatures, and all that stuff. Then, nobody wanted to hear it. Now, everybody's suddenly a teacher on it, or have a degree in it, and want to give you a degree in it, and all those kind of things, which is so ridiculous. You can't become something that you're not. You can try all you want. Your energy, your vibration is at a certain level, and it's like saying you're going to take a tuning fork that's a super high note and make it do a low note. It's going to ring at one level always. You can't change spots on a leopard, and all those kind of phrases came out of the truth. The truth. We can say, well, a lion turns into a tiger turns into a bear. You can say whatever you want. But what is the truth about it? Where did the lion come from? Where did the tiger come from? Where did this come from? Where did that come from? Well, it came from the dinosaurs. Where did the dinosaur come from? A seed falling to the planet and hatched into an embryo of a bionic, some kind of weird thing, and then turned into an animal. You know, mankind is pretty ignorant when it comes to truth. Very ignorant. They don't want the truth. They don't want to know what it pertains to. Because it pertains to death. The only thing that's important in life. No matter what you do, no matter what you eat, no matter who you live with, no matter who you don't live with, you're going to die. Now, what did you attain? What did you understand? And what did you grow in truth with during that time frame? Probably nothing, because the programming that you're dwelling within is created by many other people. A direct experience is something that you have with spirit. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can tell you yours is not real. They might try to, but you in your own heart know that it's real. But here's the thing. We got demons all around us, and they're preaching their truth to mankind. Now, everybody blames Lucifer for everything. Everybody I know is like attacking Lucifer, and Lucifer is going to get killed. The only person who's not a person that can take Lucifer out is God. No deity, no angel, and not Jesus can. Jesus could work with spirits, and I mean, I could, and many people can. But that alone, only God can do it. Because it's too powerful. And when people think, well, Jesus will have to come and get rid of it, Jesus never, ever said he was God. Never became God. He had abilities, and like in the definition of God, super abilities. And Jesus had 32 of them. He didn't use them all. I mean, I don't want to get into that right now, but I was there. And he used a lot of them. He didn't use all of them. But he never said he was God. Ever! Even when they were killed him, he didn't say, I'm God. And what did he say? You know, words get twisted and then they mold other things into what they want him to say, which is really sad. All right. Hold on. Where did my site go? Hold on, anything. Well, somebody asked me about karma. I guess karma is a big word. Before we get too far, all right, some of the ways you pay off karma. The first thing is don't create more. You'll never pay it off if you create more. How do you create karma? That word, good and bad, right and wrong. There is always a right and wrong. I mean, people rather hear good and better. There's no such thing as wrong or bad. Oh, yes, there is. And by now, you must have had multiple lifetimes here. You should know killing's not accepted, rape's not accepted, and a lot of words are not accepted as being part of this reality. Child abuse and all those other things, woman abuse, you name it. Killing for no reason, hunting animals for no reason, just to stuff them and put them in your room. I mean, all these things create karma at different levels. And I was just thinking about that. Show you real fast. I was a fisherman half of my life. I went shark fishing. And I just separated from my wife at the time. And I said, I want to catch the biggest fish ever caught. Which I did. I caught the biggest blue shark ever caught at the time when I caught it. It was 345 pounds without its stomach because it spit its stomach out and chomped it off. All right. And then they couldn't get the exact weight because it was still touching the water when they tried to weigh it. It was 13 and a half feet long. Now, I caught the shark, and when I had it on the line, I said, do I really want to kill this shark? And at that moment, the mate shot a harpoon into the shark. At that point, it was no chance of letting it go again. And they pulled it up and brought it on the deck and hung it up. So I was lost for words, but I mean, I was happy because I caught the biggest blue shark now. I didn't know it was the biggest one at that time. I just knew it was a giant shark. They thought I had a tuna, and I didn't want a tuna. Trying to make this short, I went back to the dock. The mate said to me, can we have the liver? Because I could get $80 for the liver. I said, take it. And then he started cutting it up. And he gave all the pieces from the tail back towards the stomach. And he says, you want the biggest piece? I said, yeah, which I took the stomach. Little did I know, the best part of a shark is the back part, not the front part. So if you look at a bull when they cut it up, which is the more expensive steaks and not, all right. But in the interim, I put it in my car and drove home. The saddest part of that whole thing, blue sharks have the worst ammonia, and it poured out all through my car. I tried everything to get the smell out of it and get that out of it, and I never did. So I was just saying to myself, do I want to go fishing anymore? Because it's karma, whether it's little or big. And this is the way I based it. It depends on how big the creature was. Now, I was down Jersey Shore fishing, and I caught a striped bass. It was about 46 pounds. And I was fighting it for about 45 minutes. And then all of a sudden, this log hit my leg, and I thought I broke my leg. And I was limping around for 2 months. But I caught the fish. So I say, karma is like a 50-50 thing. You pay it. If you're in, like when John Lennon says, instant karma is going to get you. Meaning, if you paid off your karma, you live with the karma you make daily. That karma includes worldly karma. So when people say, well, I don't have no karma, you're living on planet Earth. You're living in a karma-filled world. I mean, if somebody drops a bomb on it or comes in your house, blows it up, or blows up the city where you're living in, whatever, it's karma. There's earthly karma, and you're a part of that. So you're not karma-free no matter what you do or think you become. I mean, even Oprah said, I'm completely karma-free. Oh, really? She has no ego. Oh, really? So we can move on. I don't know if you saw that or not. I'm just trying to think where my dog is. Okay, karma, to pay it off, is a matter opening up to spirit, listening to it, doing what it tells you to do. Now, how do you do that? I'm going in a lot of directions, which I always do. It's so hard for me to stay in one direction. I had all kinds of problems when I was little, like dyslexia. Everything goes around in a circle. So, and everything's part of the same thing. I hope you understand that. If I'm talking about butterflies and then cows and then sharks, it's all part of the circle. They all fit into that one part of the puzzle somewhere. So, when you're working with karma, all right, the karma paying it off is right action instead of doing wrong action. And the only way you can do that is by listening to spirit. And there's simple ways to learn how to talk to spirit or listen to it when it tells you to do something. And basically, I'll give you the shortest way I can break it down. Whenever you do anything, you get two things talking, soul and mind. My scenario is if you're walking towards the corner, the light's changing green, all right, and you say, well, I could hurry up and run across the street, or I could stop. Now, the first thought says run across the street. The second one, stop and wait for the light to change. Which one you listen to will determine karma instantly if you're living in that moment, all right? You choose to go run across the street before the light changes. The light changes and you get hit by the car. So did you take the right decision? Did you make the right decision? You can listen to soul. You just need to know which one's talking to you, which one first or second. And it usually stays the same. When you hear something in your mind, or however you want to hear it, or through soul, the first one usually comes as soul. The second one usually is mind. Because mind always likes to counteract whatever the soul says or does. And so, oh no, this is better. I can think. And ego always takes the mind. So some people, it is the second one. Mind comes out for do it. And then soul says, no, don't do it. So that you need to know when you live your life from now on. Because every action, you need to know that you're not creating karma by doing that action. Sure, this piece is a little karma that you make just by breathing air on this planet. But creating karma that you're going to have to deal with in your next life, or that's going to take you back down here, or keep you in the astral plane and things like that, is very critical to understand. Nobody talks about that in any important way. All right? I was in a certain path. They talked about soul travel and things like that, traveling out of the body, meeting with masters and stuff. But they're only masters of human form. Deities are masters of universes and realms. Much more complicated. But they're the worlds Jesus talked about when he said, leave these realms to go into the higher realms. All right? And until you experience that, it's no clue. You have no idea the difference between earth and astral plane. Never mind a spiritual place. The astral plane is not a beautiful place. It's a lot different here because you're not confined to age, dying, and all those kind of things. But you can't kill people there either. On the other hand, you don't grow much because now you think, oh, I have all this freedom. I could eat what I want. I could float, fly, walk, crawl, whatever I want to do. I could be, you usually pick an age. Most souls there are between 26 and 36. I don't know why you would choose to go there as a child. Some people do. Some people choose to go as an elder. But see, that's programmed ideas that stuck in their consciousness that when they left this body, they're holding on to it. Not that it's permanently ingrained with them, but they accept it as it is ingrained within them. Meaning, oh, I have family, I have to come back. Why? What can you do for your family if you come back as a baby? Oh, give them happiness. Yeah, and then who's going to die and all those other things. No, we have twisted, programmed truth. And to make this all worse, we can bring in a UFO world. It's not as easy as it sounds. I'm trying to make it as clear and simple as I can. But the human race are animals, more so than most animals out there. When you tell yourself things are important, who are you telling? And why are you telling yourself it's important? And what's important? What is important to you is based on what programs you learned and accepted. Why I'm making lots of money now. I got a nice house. I got a nice car. But do you know anything about death? Do you know anything about soul? Do you know anything about God? They have nothing to do with it. Nothing. Well, I pray to God and I got lots of money. No, you pray to the demons that will give you everything to keep you happy here. Happiness here is not God. Feelings and emotions of the mind, not soul. Something that nobody talks about is the most important thing to understand. Because we're not here to be happy. We're not here to think everything's love, light, compassion, and peace. There will never be peace again. Not for a super long time of multiple generations. Why? Because man doesn't want it. Aliens don't want it. The only time we were at peace was in Atlantis. And that was 35,000 years ago that it was destroyed. And we got and became ignorant, evil, destructive. No matter what UFO story you hear, it's a lie. What they're going to do for us is a lie. Help us what? When people say alien races are going to help us, help you do what? If an alien came to you right now, what would you ask him to help you with? Paying your bills? What? Really? Think about it. Oh, the alien, good aliens. What's a good alien? What can they bring you? What can they give you? Money? And it's always based on money. Well, if you gave me a lot of money, you gave me a couple gold bricks, I'd be happy. Yeah, and then what would you do with your life? Become a rich idiot. You'd forget all the morals you have. No rich person has incredibly good morals. If they did, there wouldn't be this whole thing about the rich and poor. We'd all be equal. A rich person wouldn't sit there in this gold-plated house while the person next door to him's living in a wood shack, starving and getting a piece of bread once a day or something. Morals and money go together. The more money, the stronger the morals become. And those morals become ego, not good morals. So we're in a downhill cycle. We have been for many, many thousands of years now. Now, the idea, important fact, being compassionate. Do you know what compassion means? God's compassion for the human race is allowing us to be here, allowing us to have the ability to step out of being ignorant. But soul chooses because mind's programmed to believe that it has to stay here. That's due to Lucifer sending demons down here and letting Satan take control over it. But see, now Lucifer has a realm, a domain to play in God, even though that's what God wanted, because God doesn't want these souls popping up into the higher realms being ignorant and evil. And those words do exist. And if you can't face them, we're in serious trouble. We are not one race. We didn't come from two people, meaning male and female, two people that gave birth to all these races. We're four races now, and there were more races then in ancient Atlantis. But here's where we're going with that. They're trying to brainwash you, convince you that we all came from the black race. Now, if you think of mutating, a cell mutating, and it's always getting better, how is that possible? Because all these other things that mutated from other things are different. So why would a human race that's mutating become the same except change color, like a lizard? No, it's not the answer. Science is so far out of whack when they even think about that. Oh, we can prove it. DNA has nothing to do with soul. Nothing. When you step into the body, that body is encased with a brain and a heart. The heart just keeps the body alive, but the brain is DNA of its family. Memories are in that, not within soul. But soul's driving a car and it has to use the steering wheel, it has to use the brakes, has to use the key to turn it on and off. So it's basically stuck within the car when it travels. And until it steps out of it, can it see the difference? So if you learn how to leave your body, you can start seeing the truth. Number one thing. The most important thing you can do in this planet, in this lifetime. not have children, not hit the lottery, none of those things, because life is only going to be 125 years for you, maximum, and you will die. Are you ready? Do you understand where you're going to go? Do you understand what you're going to do? You're going to go somewhere to the ESA plane, probably between 5 and 10 years, and then you're going to reincarnate back here. Oh no, I'm spiritual. And what's that mean? Praying? You think when you go to the ESA plane, you're going to sit there and pray? Pray for what? Pray for planet Earth? Why not pray for all the universes out there and all the other races that have no feeling, have no emotion, that think about taking over the universe and things like that, destroy planet Earth and all those little things? No, mankind doesn't want to go there. Well, what makes a person spiritual? People with an ego. Okay, how do you experience an experience and what does it really mean? What is an experience? Well, when you leave your body, when you have a death experience, out of body experience, some people think getting hit by a car, getting robbed is an experience. It's an experience, all right? Is it good or bad? Is it beneficial? People say, well, every experience helps you move forward. Does it really? If you're on a sinking ship and there's, say, 200 people on there and they're all getting into these life rafts and going away, you only got two choices. You got one and one staying there and one jumping off. So is there a right and wrong? Hopefully you can see there is. You stay on a boat, you sink and drown. Two is you get off and get on life raft and you might be saved. So it's not like there is always one, and whatever it is a learning experience. You stayed on that boat, you drowned, you don't have any more experiences here to learn until you come back in your next life. So thinking about moving forward in this lifetime, you want to take the experiences that are going to help you move forward, not move backwards, not create karma. And a lot of things we do in the name of spirit or good or love and compassion are not beneficial to the other party that we think we're helping or what we think we're doing. Well, I invented a candy machine. Now this can make cotton candy for the whole world. Oh, yeah, it was good for children and people. But was it the right thing? Do we need a cotton candy machine? Do we need a Tesla car? Do we need computer robots controlling the world? Think about what man creates, and you'll see the destruction to the human race at every level. From the sex toys to the sports they play. Now, for instance, we allow boxing to be a sport today. Then they got strongman and all those other ones. People do fight. People do get hurt. 2 weeks ago, the boxer was knocked out in the ring, put in the hospital, and died. And people said, well, they get better gloves. Really? Instead of stopping a sport that's barbaric, because go back to last year, 2 people fought. Each one got $180 million to try to beat the other person up. It was a lousy fight. It went the whole rounds. One of them wasn't, neither one of them was really super outrageous for the word of beating the other person up. And they both got paid an incredible amount of money. And they got more money for every round that they would last. So obviously they were going to last till the end of the fight to make sure they got all the money they could. Selling out, playing the game for money, which is what most people do. They'll do anything. In the business world, I'm not going to get into the sex thing and all that, which affects women more than men in a great way. It's horrible. The system that's in place is horrible. And I'm talking about the United States. I'm not even going into the countries that are so much more obscene at every level than the people in the United States are. And we want to bring Muslims into the United States. Why? Now, I'm against the New Age word. I thought I was a New Age person many years ago, but I realized what it meant. It's ignorance, it's ego, and it's blocking out every bit of truth to fill it with fantasies and dreams. Well, the world's going to get better. We're going to be higher dimensional beings. We're going to be this. We're going to be that. We're going to do this and that. While we are destroying the planet at every level. So when do you think you're going to put your shoes on, walk out as a man or a woman, and do the things you need to do? I'm changing my topic. I hope you listened to part of the song in the beginning. Uh, Cindy's song. It's about a little girl, and her father comes in and rapes her every night. All right, that's how bad it was, and it is. And the song saying we have to create a change, and we do. It's kind of already too late. If you look at the numbers on a daily basis, it's incredibly beyond sick. All right. And are women ready to take a stand and do something about it? Only now women are coming out a little more. But obviously, men with their pathetic ego, I'm sorry to say I'm one, not pathetic with an ego, but a man, think women want it, women lie, women do this and that. Bill Cosby had 60 women come out, and I got a list of their names. I'm trying to get in touch with 13 of them, the ones that got involved with going to other states and changing the laws, which they did. In 13 states now, if you remember being raped at any age, you can go to court now. Because when you have a rape scene in your life, which most men will never perceive or understand, it affects the subconscious. It affects every aspect of the way they think. And it blocks out a lot of times. And they don't want to remember it, and they don't. And something kicks in, and suddenly they see it or feel it or go through it. And I think right now they need to change all the laws on every aspect of rape. Because now, if somebody's getting raped and it gets stopped right before penetration for a word, it's no longer rape. I mean, you could rape a person's mind, and it's just as bad. I mean, if you do a lot of things to a person without doing one thing, it's still rape. And until mankind, men, accept that they're perverted, twisted, and sick, will that ever change? And the only way that's going to change is by all women sticking together to change the laws on it. Rape's going down from 12 years to 6 years maximum. And even at that, children to 21, 20 are getting off with maybe 6 months and things like that. A rapist, if that's not a sick reality. So when we talk about aliens coming here and helping us, what? How to get to Venus and Jupiter and go to other planets? Is that what we need to do? There's 7.4 billion people on this planet. 90% of them are starving, homeless, without money, without food, most of the time. 90%. 5% are rich, millionaire, I won't even call them words, but egotistical, brainwashed fools. And then you got the middle class doing all the work for everybody. So, do you call that a society? Then you got Democrats and Republicans. Both of them are evil. They have twisted ideas on both aspects of everything. Who knows what to do when we declare war? Who knows what to do when those things happen? You think Bernie or Hillary is going to be in the right place? I still feel, and I know, I'm not going to say Hillary, but a woman as president would be 10 times better than a man at any given moment. They're rational, they're compassionate, and they're open to truth where men aren't. So if there's a woman that I even perceive that could win, I'd vote for her in a second. Now Trump's the opposite. Now I went pretty far already. I just want to throw this in before it ends, and I want you to really hear what I'm saying. 2 books that came out 124 years ago. One of them's called The Last President. Please, I want you to send this and talk to everybody you can. Pull it up online. Read everything you can about it. The Last President. Lockwood is his last name. He wrote a book based on Trump becoming president. Unwanted, unknown. Nobody thought he would win. He wins. And then the second book, the book came out first, I guess, The Majestic Journey of Baron Trump. Barron Trump was his father. Now, if you read that book, it talks about him going into the center of the earth, going through time, seeing the past, present, and future, and then Trump goes back in time to stop Tesla from doing something, creating the doomsday weapon, which he did create. Coming back to the present, and knowing that there's going to be a bomb with a giant explosion looking like a mushroom that's going to take out the world. So, read it. It's really important that you understand this person wrote all that in the president book. He wrote people that are around the president right now. How did he know that? In 124 years ago. So there's things that we can get into in great stories, but I want you to dive into that. Look it up, read it, pull out. There's videos on it. They're trying to explain it and understand it. And while Trump's sitting in the White House doing what he's doing, think about his father had connections with Tesla and stole some notes from him. And they were probably the notes on time travel. Whether he was able to build a time machine separately or whatever, who knows, but they had the money to do it. None of that's provable, except the books were written a long time ago. And the names are in the book. So check that out. And where we're going with that is pretty scary. Because here's the last thought on that. Right now, Bernie Sanders had a heart attack. They put 3 stents in his heart, and he came out 3 days later. Biden is like walking into he turns around in front of he was lecturing, turns around and starts talking to the wall. The HARP system, which Tesla invented, the HARP system, not the doomsday weapon, is able to project thoughts in anybody on this planet right now. It has to do with chemtrails. Greatly. And people say, whoa, that's not real. That's a conspiracy theory. Everybody wants to doubt it. I tell you, everything is in a ball. It all connects somewhere and somewhere in that puzzle. You need to put your puzzle together. You need to find the right facts to put in it. You want the truth. You want to make it tell the truth. So I'm going to be going on with this. I'm going to go into what I feel is much more important right now. But I hope you got something out of today. I could go on. I'm sure you're probably bored or you got too much knowledge, too much not knowledge, or too much doubt, whatever. But I'm not like the UFO people giving you stupid, ignorant stories of how they met with these aliens and they traveled through the universe and they're having families on other planets and stuff. Does that help the human race at all for anything? Think about what's going to help people in this reality. War and all those other things, starvation, rape, abuse, all the things that are affecting us that are destroying us. Contamination. Chemtrails are destroying the planet. California is going to be in serious trouble. California won't be there too much longer. Government wants it. There's things that you need to be aware of, and it's out there. Now, you have to sift through the truth that's out there. Because somebody takes a little bit of truth and makes it into a giant story. Every story in the Bible is based on a smidgen of truth, but you don't live with a person 24 hours, 7 days a week. You don't know that person. So for anybody to think they know Jesus is pretty pathetic. I mean, I know him because I was alive in that lifetime. I was a female. I was with Mary Magdalene and Jesus. If you want to talk about that, I will. I'm going to be doing a lot of shows on that soon. My book is out there, The True Teachings of Jesus from God Realization. But if you're more into UFOs, a manual, I'm giving it away. I'm asking for $1 if you want. How to see a UFO. If you follow the book, you'll see UFOs and you'll understand it. So I'm a realist. I go against everybody, my friends, enemies, you name it. Because very few people want to deal with the highest truth. And there is an ultimate truth. And that is God. If you don't understand God, how are you ever going to perceive what it wants? Oh, it wants us to be love and light people, compassionate. Really? And what are love and light people going to do on this planet? Go around kissing each other, having sex with each other, tantra sex and all those other words which separated. Hindu people were doing that many, many, many years ago. When the first religion was created, Hinduism, they were into all that. The deities were playing sex games with them and stuff. It was all about sex. So how far did we come? Now that they got robot dolls that look more human than humans do, could be probably more fun to be with because they'll say what you want and everything else for some people that play with dummies. But we're changing to a reality. More people talk to a computer for years thinking they're in love with somebody that's a picture on a computer, not a real person. And they're usually nothing to whatever they put on that computer. We're destroying ourselves, we're destroying our mind, and we're creating so much karma for the world. And if you stay in the world, you're dealing with that much more karma. So you talk about getting rid of karma, decide to let go of this world when the ability and the chance comes to you. Don't hang on. There's nothing to hang on to here. Oh, I love somebody. You think it's going to change in a year or two? It's going to get better? No. And make somebody watch you suffer if you're sick and dying of a disease? And hurt them even more? Why? Are you that evil and so programmed into your ego? I look at Oprah. With all her money, she's holding on to it. Why? She could do incredible miracles all over the United States right now. And I've been trying to get in touch with her for 22, 23 years at least. Every 21-day show she did, I was writing emails and that and putting blogs up and everything. Ever since when she created Eckhart Tolle and made him famous, to Deepak Chopra. But she thinks she's karmaless. She thinks she has no ego because of both of them. And they both tell you how to live in the moment, in the now. And what's the now? Unaware state. That's what it means. Unaware. Be happy. Be happy. Be happy. Really? Well, with that, I hope you got something out of today. Please, I'm telling you to send this link to everybody you know. Any UFO name, put that link on their site. And just put, this person is willing to debate you in a second on any of your so-called truth. All right, which I am. All right, well, look, thanks for tuning in again. Here I am. I'm just one person. I don't claim to be anything than a person than telling my truth. And my truth is important, and it could help many people if they listen and find their truth within that. I mean, you have to accept my truth, but I'm giving you the truth, how to find the truth. All right. Till next time, it's a pleasure to be here, to be able to talk to you. I don't know how many more years, days, weeks I'm going to be here, but I will keep trying and keep putting it out there. So, love, compassion, whatever you need in your life, I hope you get it, and hope you keep going further than that. So, till next time, this is what they do in Hawaii. It looks like evil devil's horns, but till next time, peace.